I'm going to show you how to easily read and understand the Major Arcana of the Tarot, and we're starting right now. Hi, I'm SJ and this is Infinite Fire Readings, and in this video I'm going to show you how to read and understand the Major Arcana of a tarot deck. Whether you're brand new to reading or completely professional, this video will give you a clearer understanding of the meanings of the upright Major Arcana, which will level up your reading skills. Let's jump straight in. Out of the common 78 card tarot decks, 22 of those are the Major Arcana. The Major Arcana are dominant over the Minor Arcana, and they represent lessons or life themes in the person that is being read for. The idea is that the Fool, which is card 0, both the start and the end of the Major Arcana, is taking a journey through all of the other Major Arcana, from the Magician, card 1, all the way through to the World, card 21, where he finishes his journey, or her journey, and is a lot wiser and more knowledgeable and ready for the next adventure. Their learning cycle is done, and they can begin again. If you see a lot of Major Arcana in a reading, you can interpret that a lot of major life lessons or events are coming up in the person that is being read for. The specific cards of the Major Arcana in order are as follows. 0, the Fool. 1, the Magician. 2, the High Priestess. 3, the Empress. 4, the Emperor. 5, the Hierophant. 6, the Lovers. 7, the Chariot. 8, Strength. 9, the Hermit. 10, Wheel of Fortune. 11, Justice. 12, the Hanged Man. 13, Death. 14, Temperance. 15, the Devil. 16, the Tower. 17, the Star. 18, the Moon. 19, the Sun. 20, Judgment. And 21, the World. If I see a lot of Major Arcana coming up in a reading that I'm doing in the reverse, I can interpret it to mean one of 4 things. 1, there is a life-changing lesson coming up in the future which hasn't yet started, though will unfold shortly. 2, there is a life lesson underway, and it is in progress for the person being read for, but hasn't yet been completed. 3, a life lesson has been completed, though its energy is still being released. Or 4, in some instances, a person is stuck in a particular cycle of repeating their same life lesson because it hasn't yet been learnt, and there is resistance to learn the lesson and/or to change. If I see the repetition of a Major Arcana in the upright, then the same meaning as the 4th reason for the reverse I gave would also apply, except the person isn't as resistant. They want to learn their life lesson. They're still, however, stuck repeating the cycle. I find that with repeat readings for the same person with the same Major Arcana in the same orientation, there is a repetition of a life cycle, and it is possible that additional guidance may be required for this person to learn, move on, and forward into the next phase of their life. If you resonate with being a light worker or another spiritual worker, I can give guidance as to how to do this in another video. So now that we know what the Major Arcana are and what their purpose is, let's go into depth of their specific meanings in order. 0, the Fool. The Fool is the alpha and the omega of our tarot journey. He is our protagonist and leads us through each of the individual lessons that the Major Arcana has to offer. The Fool in himself represents naivety, innocence, and complete and utter blind faith in life. He or she is spontaneous and free-spirited, and is all about taking a leap of faith. He is ready and more than willing to embark on an adventure. He usually represents the person being read for in a reading when he appears, though can also be about someone who has a fresh mind, without any preconceived ideas, such as someone with a childlike innocence. Despite his title, the Fool is generally a positive and optimistic card, though he, however, can also be seen as exactly that, foolish, and he is ready to jump into things without any knowledge or experience, which may not always be the wisest call. However, overall it is a bright card that speaks of someone possibly with his head in the clouds and a carefree attitude, just enjoying life and whatever adventures it offers. 1. The Magician. The Magician is a master of all the elements and is connected to all the different suits of the tarot: earth, wind, fire, and water, also respectively pentacles, swords, wands, and cups. He represents creation, new beginnings, and also manifestation and manipulation of the elements. He is a creator of new ideas. The Magician is about the spark of inspiration of new ideas before they are even born. 2. The High Priestess. The High Priestess is a very spiritual persona and is very much a card of intuition and connection with the realms beyond the physical. She is connected to the afterlife and is associated with knowledge beyond logic. She is linked to inspiration and listening to higher self. Whereas the Magician is about pure creation and insemination of new ideas, the High Priestess is the link that can hear and tap into this creativity and ideas, and can understand the right pathway forward for them to come into the physical realm. She is the underlying subtle voice that knows all of the answers and is connected to infinite wisdom. 3. The Empress. The Empress is a card of creativity and nurture, and is a character who tends not just to what is being metaphorically planted in her garden, but also tends to the soil itself from which the plants grow. The Empress is the mother, the nurturing space for creativity and growth and receptivity. Where the Magician is the creation, and the High Priestess taps into the infinite realm of possibilities which the Magician holds, the Empress allows a space where an idea from the Magician and channeled through the High Priestess can be born into actual existence. She could be seen as the calm, healthy, nurturing void in which all creations are fostered and allowed space to grow and evolve. She is often a sign of fertility as well, both for ideas and can even indicate pregnancy. She is a space where action can start, providing the right settings for takeoff. 4. The Emperor. The Emperor is the counterpart to the Empress and can symbolize a twin flame or significant partnership when both he and the Empress appear in the same spread. He is also linked to the first of the 12 zodiac signs, the star sign Aries. He is all about stability and control, and where the kings of the tarot all rule over their individual kingdoms, the Emperor rules over the entire land. He is linked to fours and foundations, and is about maintaining control over his environment. Whereas the Empress is the mother, the Emperor is the father, and is there to take action as well as protect. 5. The Hierophant. The Hierophant is about traditions, longevity, and taking the commonly walked path. He can relate to marriages, long-term jobs, or long-term stable situations. He is less of an adventurer and more about walking the tried and tested pathways. It is also card 5, which is linked to change. It also links to the card of Taurus in the zodiac signs. The Hierophant is a stable energy and is rarely one to take unconventional risks. 6. The Lovers. The Lovers is linked to the astrological star sign of Gemini and is about dualities, choices, decisions, and of course, can also be about love. Being linked to the number 6, this card is definitely about balance and reciprocity. If a decision is made, it cannot be made alone, it must be made with two. If this card comes up in a reading where both the Empress and the Emperor are around, it can signify a significantly strong romantic connection. The Lovers card is definitely also about love. However, it's certainly also about choices. It can signify a very, very strong union, though it can also be about a very, very significant decision. 7. The Chariot. Linked to the star sign of Cancer and the number of 7, which is about action, the Chariot is a card of success and victory. The Chariot speaks about accepting the whole self and situation, the good, the bad, the light, the dark, and taking all of your opposites like yin and yang and moving forward successfully with power and intention. It is also a card of movement and calculated risk-taking. In some readings that I do, it can indicate travel. It is a powerful card of forward movement, taking things by the horns and charging through. 8. Strength. Strength is card 8, which is very much connected to flow and power, and it is also linked to the star sign Leo. The Strength card is about exactly that, having strength in the face of adversity. However, it is not just about physical strength, though about the strength of compassion and gentleness. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Strength card is depicted by a woman opening the jaws of a lion. This lion could usually devour her, so it is not her physical strength which has allowed her to open its jaws, though her compassion and self-assurance which has given her the fortitude to rise beyond and tame the beast. 9. The Hermit. This card is linked to Virgo, and as card 9 is about independence and self-autonomy. The Hermit is taking a solo journey, which is likely a combination of both external and internal. This card is about walking the path alone, though it doesn't necessarily indicate loneliness. When this card appears, there is a time for introspection and discovering oneself. The Hermit is spiritually growing and has to complete this adventure on their own, to learn and grow as an individual. They are also their own light in the darkness, and guide themselves safely through the night with their own light and self-trust. 10. Wheel of Fortune. Linked to the number 10, which is all about completion cycles, the Wheel of Fortune continues to turn. When it is upright, things can be turning in the favor of the person being read for. When in the reverse, the opposite. The Wheel of Fortune also addresses the beliefs of the individual. Is there a belief in good or bad luck? And which is running the show in their life? I can also personally link this card to Ophiuchus in my readings, which is one of the 13 zodiac signs. Ophiuchus isn't very commonly connected to the tarot, so in order to do readings which did incorporate it, I linked it personally to the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, and the World. Some readers read the same and others read this differently. The Wheel of Fortune talks about cycles finishing and beginning again, and can usually mean in the upright that a wealth of good fortune is heading your way. It also speaks of the wheel of life and change, and in my readings can sometimes again be linked to travel. 11. Justice. Card of Libra, this card talks about balance and justice in the world of the subject, and is about karma and karmic lessons. It can be associated at times with court orders, legalities, and contracts. The card has 2 ones in it, which is about the balancing of new and different ideas. The Justice card can come up when someone is going through a karmic cycle or a karmic lesson, or even perhaps a legal matter. It is linked to the balancing of the whole, and speaks of fairness and equality. 12. The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is about taking a different perspective and seeing things differently from the status quo. He can also be about patience and waiting for something to happen. He is upside down, symbolizing his different perspective from the rest of the world. Perhaps he is even being chastised for it. However, he is calm and certain in his own view, and this is his reassurance. Sometimes this card, however, can be about rigid thinking. After some of my own personal experiences with reading the cards, I actually also read this card as the Hung Man, and to me it can be about a sexual and compatible relationship on the horizon. 13. Death. Card of Scorpio, this card is very rarely about actual death. It is only in a few readings out of the thousands I have done that this has actually been the case. It is usually symbolic of transitions, endings, and new beginnings, though it may be a transformation within a cycle, such as the phoenix rising from the ashes. The past is done and is no longer required, and out of the old and stagnant and dead is birthed the new, the relevant, the awakened. Again, it is a card of accepting polar opposites, with light and dark, endings and beginnings, death as a part of life. Though where the Chariot takes both of the energies to move forward, in the Death card, one energy is released in order for another energy to come through. 14. Temperance. Card of Sagittarius. This card is about balance, patience, and transformation. Temperance is a bit like the alchemist, turning water into wine. However, this process takes time. It is well worth the effort and dedication of self-mastery and transformation. However, it is not without the cost of time, and time requires patience for those with true intention. It is a card of developing the self into a better version so that you are able to master what objects obscured the path before. It talks about lessons of self-transformation and allowing of this process to take the time it needs. It can come up in readings when a person is impatient and is learning about patience. It takes time because once having mastered the lesson that Temperance offers, time is no longer relevant to mastery and altering the tangible universe as the subject knows it to be. With 1 and 4 being both about new beginnings and foundations, and also adding up to 5, which is change, this card is particularly about the inner transformation for the better that comes with time invested and laying solid foundations of a new idea, and/or for a new way of being. 15. The Devil. Card of Capricorn. This card has a rap for being negative. However, I view this card quite neutrally in terms of whether it is good or bad. It can be either, or both. The main meaning of the Devil card is ultimately about bondages. This can be legal, contractual ties in a long-term business venture, a mortgage, a long-term marriage, or, yes, even a toxic relationship that one feels bound by. When it comes up with the Empress, the Emperor, and any other relevant twin flame cards, such as the Lovers, and perhaps the Four of Wands, this can be a signifier of a twin flame connection, and sometimes even a longevous marriage. It has an element of dependency with this card, where both parties of the specific relationship are entwined with each other's lives, and disconnection may not always be easy. The Devil is certainly one of the more powerful lessons that the tarot has to offer. 16. The Tower. Card of Ophiuchus. This card again links to 7 and is a card of great change and adversity. It is possibly one of the most intense cards in all of the tarot, as it usually indicates significant internal and external changes in the life of the subject, and not necessarily easy changes by any means. The Tower in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck has a lightning bolt striking and destroying it, an indication that the house on which one has built on top of their foundations is coming crashing down. It is symbolic of significant life changes, sometimes abrupt and unplanned for. The silver lining to the everything is collapsing energy that the Tower brings into a reading is that usually these things happen because the tower or house was not built on solid foundations. After the disaster strikes and the fire has been put out, there is a chance to clear the rubble and rebuild on a new, far more solid foundation. The Tower is one of the most impactful lessons of life change in the tarot, and can appear scary a lot of the time because it is not a comfortable or welcome change necessarily, and can lead to an identity crisis in which one must reevaluate in order to shift and grow into the next, more stable version of themselves. 17. The Star. Card of Aquarius. This card is about long-term goals and dreams, and indicates the promise of wish fulfillment if the subject is to stay the path and walk the road. It isn't a card of instant gratification, though one of hope and playing the long game to get to the happy ending. In terms of manifesting, the star symbolizes that you are on track and your manifestation will eventually come to fruition. The star is an alchemist of sorts and is connected to the elements of earth and water, pouring water in both the river and on the land in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. She invests her energy in the whole and understands that it is focusing on all important aspects of life that create a sustainable and wonderful living environment. This card is always a positive card in the upright and always signifies that success is inevitable. It may still mean that time may pass in order to get to the destination. 18. The Moon. Card of Pisces, this card speaks of enigmas, mysteries, and the unknown. It can be a card of connecting to the unknown depths of the subconscious mind and needing to navigate the monsters of this dark and rugged terrain. It symbolizes unknown times up ahead or unknown territory to be walked in life. It is the dark night of the Major Arcana and can seem overwhelming if one is not mentally prepared for its path. The moon in the reverse could even indicate a fear of the unknown or not wanting to step into unknown territory. This card in the upright usually indicates that an unknown change is coming up or happening in the life of the person being read for. 19. The Sun. The Sun is the happiest card in all of the tarot. It sings of innocence and youth, and happy times without cares or worries. There is playfulness, joy, and full immersion in the moment, as a child on a summer day with their favorite toy at their favorite place. Even in the reverse, this card is still positive, and if the person being read for has been in a negative headspace, this will soon shift as the sun always turns into the upright, just as the sun always rises again after the night. 20. Judgment. Judgment is the final card before the world and is one of the last lessons on the Fool's journey through the Major Arcana. It is metaphorically about the raising of the dead to join with the living. However, in a contemporary reading, this is really about the past coming up and back into the present to be reassessed in the present and to move forward with a different perspective on it. Sometimes it can signify different people or offers or situations from the past coming back up in the present to be reassessed and either brought forward or released. 21. The World. The final card that I read as Ophiuchus, the world is linked to completion cycles, finalizations, and the end of the journey, as well as a time for new beginnings. It is the final stage of the Fool's journey, the last of the lessons on their adventure, and can also speak, possibly, of traveling coming up ahead. This is a card of liberation in truth. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, there are 4 symbols that are in each corner of this card: a bull, a lion, a cherub, and an eagle, which all represent the fixed signs of the zodiac: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. These figures are also symbolic of the elements, the suits of the tarot, and can have many other meanings as well depending on how you read. The World is actually quite a detailed card, and I highly recommend doing some more research into this card as well as all of the other Major Arcanas to gain even more tips, tricks, and meanings within your readings. I've also linked some references below. Check out the description section to find them. And there you have it, how to read and understand the Major Arcana of the tarot. Understanding the specific meanings of all of your tarot cards can really help you to give more accurate readings. Keep in mind as well that all of the information I'm providing you is from my own learning and experience. I highly encourage you to seek other resources as well to improve your reading skills on your own tarot journey. If this video benefited you and you're really keen to dive further into tarot and its meaning, you can check out my video on how to read the fundamentals of tarot in the description below, as well as any other useful videos I've created which I will have put in the description as well. Give this video a like if it helped you, and also hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any new videos that I release on how to read the tarot, as well as any manifestation videos I also release. Thank you so much for watching. Have an absolutely wonderful space time wherever you are, and I'll catch you in your next video. Bye!